Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of History in the Parks. My name is Joe Garzo, and I'm with Charlotte County History Services. And we are here today at the beautiful Centennial Park and our newest recreation center here in Charlotte County. So this is our new marker, as you can see, telling your story, History in the Parks. It has a picture of a Florida postcard from 1954. And I'll just read you the text. It says, Charlotte County has been hosting those wishing to enjoy our tropical beaches and amenities since the late 1800s. Railroads expanded into the area in 1886 with Florida Southern Railroad in Punta Gorda, followed by the Charlotte Harbor and Northern Railroad in Murdock and Boca Grande by 1907. This aided industry growth with the export of goods and import of visitors and new commodities. In the 1950s, the area boomed with the development of Port Charlotte, where residents and visitors flocked to the newly built paradise. So here we are at Centennial Park, and they offer so many great things here. You should definitely come check it out. They got 5+ miles worth of trails to hike on. They also have the only Olympic-sized pool here in Charlotte County. They just built a beach volleyball court, so you can do that too. They got a gymnasium inside with a lot of great places to work out as well. So please come down and visit. What we also boast are 6 ball fields, 3 Little League, 2 full-size ones, and 1 softball field. So this offers us a chance to host a lot of tournaments here. And one of the big tournaments we host is the Snowbird Classic, which is a college baseball tournament. So baseball has a rich history here in Charlotte County. So most of you know that we host training camp here every year for the Tampa Bay Rays over at Charlotte Sports Park just down the road. And some of you might even be old enough to remember back in 1986 when the Texas Rangers started holding their spring training here. But did you know that the first ever training camp took place back in 1926 when this county was only 5 years old? It was when the city of Punta Gorda, they lured the Baltimore Orioles to hold their spring training here and basically nearly bankrupt the town. The Orioles, under legendary manager Jack Dunn, were a powerhouse of the International League. They won 7 straight pennants from 1919 to 1925. So they were at the height of their popularity when Punta Gorda lured them down. They lured them down with $5,000, which is equivalent to $75,000 today. They also spent $25,000 on advertising, which is equal to $365,000 today. And they also constructed a baseball park at the end of Carmelita Street. And you might notice at the end of Carmelita Street that we have softball fields there today. Shout out to the Punta Gorda Softball Men's League. Hi guys. Anyway, the grandstand they built was vivid green and it could seat 1,000 people. The outfield fence was a whopping 600 feet from home plate. And to give you some perspective, I used to work as a tour guide for the Atlanta Braves Hall of Fame and Museum, and our center field wall was only 400 feet away from home plate when it was at Turner Field. I think the longest field right now is Comerica Park in Detroit, which is about 420 feet. So 600 feet, you can only imagine how hard it would be to hit a home run back then. Anyway, even though there were only about 3,000 people living in Punta Gorda at the time, they expected to sell out every game. They were hoping that out-of-towners, like fans of the Philadelphia Athletics, who hosted their spring training down in Fort Myers, just nearby, would keep coming up here and keep the gate receipts up. But unfortunately, things went awry from the start. The Orioles were set to arrive on February 22nd, and the city had a band and a parade and all the bells and whistles ready to go, but unfortunately their train got delayed and they didn't arrive till late that night. So they had a smaller ceremony the next day where they gave Jack Dunn the key to the city. Opening day was March 5th, and it was declared Punta Gorda Day by Mayor John Jack. It was a half day so everyone could get out of work and show up for the game. They also planned a huge victory party. It was going to be at the Charlotte Bay Hotel. They had a band, they had a dance all set, and they were even going to have a Charleston contest. And $50 prize to the winner, and that, of course, is equal to $727 today. So you can only imagine the anticipation for this party, this victory party. But the victory never came. Unfortunately, the 1,000 spectators that came saw the Orioles lose in an exhibition 5-3 to the Athletics. Another notable date was March 16th, when a team of locals that called themselves the Pelicans took on the Orioles in an exhibition game. Now, the local team had high hopes that they would be able to compete with the Orioles, but it was not to be. They lost the game pretty convincingly, 13-1. The lone run scored by one Frank Smoke. Anyway, the Orioles played 14 games, and their final record was 5-9. And just for the record, their victories came against the Athletics 3 times, the New York Giants once, and my hometown Buffalo Bisons once as well. So that's what happened. They went 5-9, but they never came back to Punta Gorda because the whole venture was a financial disaster. Gate receipts failed to meet the expenses by $5,000, so the stockholders lost their money. The loss was covered on a banknote covered by 5 local businessmen, one of whom, R. Chester Blunt, ended up losing his home over the whole thing. Later that year, the Florida land boom of the 1920s collapsed, followed by the Wall Street crash in 1929 and the Great Depression of the 1930s. The men who pledged the banknote could not make payments. Frank Smoke, yes, that same Frank Smoke who scored the 1 run and he would later become a future Punta Gorda mayor, he was only able to make partial payments. But finally, the bank settled on the loan, taking 20 cents on the dollar. And just for note, the Orioles did not win the pennant that year, and their 7-year winning streak just ended like that. So it wasn't a good venture for anybody involved, but that is our history, and now I'm glad I shared it with you. So that was our history of our first spring training here in Charlotte County. Please come down and visit us at Centennial Park. We got great parks all over the county, and thank you for watching History in the Parks. We've been doing this every month for the whole year, and it was a good way to celebrate the centennial, and what a great way to end it with Centennial Park. So anyway, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and have a Happy New Year, and we hope to see you then in 2022.